Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Bobby Dunbar?
Bobby Dunbar?
Bobby Dunbar.
Is that... I don't know the characters of King of the Hill. Is that their last name?
That does sound like a character in King of the Hill.
Well, Bobby.
Bobby Dunbar. No, it's not. No, wrong. Bobby Dunbar was an American boy who's disappeared at the age of 4. This sounds...
Okay.
In 1912. It was 110 years ago. We're okay.
You think they're ever going to find him?
They could. Well, they did allegedly find him. This is a weird story. Let's just dive right in, okay? We'll roll the theme song, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you about Bobby Dunbar.
Don't roll the theme song. Roll a theme song like 30 minutes into the episode.
In a weird time.
Just at a spot that's like...
where it's like, oh, now they did it.
Yeah.
And maybe sandwich it in some advertisements.
In the middle of a commercial.
Cut the commercial for the theme song.
McDonald's now serving a... You know, that'd be good.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so Bobby Dunbar and his family, they went to Swazi Lake and...
If you don't do these dishes, I'm going to call the police. Well, you see, pianos have little strings on the inside, and my fingers are too big. Your school mascot should be eggs. Yeah, if you're around me, I'm super judgy.
Yeah,
I'm always trying to see through what you're saying, you know? I didn't kill Bobby's parents.
You did not. No, they died long before you were born.
Things I learned last night.
Which lake is a strong term for this lake. It was a swamp. They went to a swamp in Louisiana.
That's what they do down there.
Yeah, and they called it the Lake Day. And while they were at the lake, Bobby just disappeared. They were all swimming, doing their thing, and then they're like, "Where's Bobby?" Gone. And so
are they from Louisiana? Where are they from?
I think so. They're from St. Landry Parish, Louisiana.
Okay.
And so he disappears, and they panic. They call the authorities, and the authorities launches this massive manhunt to try to find this little boy. He's 4 years old at the time, right? And so they're going all around the lake. They're on the boats. They got the spotlights. They're interviewing the townsfolk. They even go as far as to dissect alligators to see if he was in the alligators. And then on day 2, they actually started throwing dynamite in the lake, hoping that...
They did that on day 1. They were dissecting alligators?
Yeah. Because he could be in an alligator.
Alive?
Probably not. Probably not.
Okay.
But they were just trying to cross all their T's, dot all their I's, cut all their alligators.
Okay.
That's how that phrase goes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then day 2, they started throwing dynamite in the lake because they're like, well...
That'll scare him. If he's hiding in there somewhere.
Like, I'm right here.
He's like, sorry. I was hiding.
Don't blow me up with your dynamite.
No one said I'll oxen free.
So
so bored right now. So bored.
I shouldn't know when I did that. So they're throwing dynamite in the swamp.
Swamp, yeah.
And honestly,
swamp sticks is what they're called down there.
Honestly, hoping that they were just going to blow him out of the water and then be like, found him.
No.
It's a very 1912 Louisiana thing to do.
What?
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Hey, sorry, we found your son.
Hey, Pa, we're missing a boy down by the swamp. All right. Yeah. Oh, he's like excited? I thought he was going to be like, all right, here we go again.
No, but
you're like,
it.
all right.
He's like, we're going to get to blow some boy out of the swamp.
He blew that boy right out of the swamp.
So they don't find him. Him. It ends up being this thing where they are like, yeah, he's probably been eaten by some alligators. Sorry. And so they go home and they think they lost their son. 8 months later.
To the gators.
8 months later, there's a traveling handyman by the name of William Walters walking through town. And a police officer sees him.
He goes, hey, you look at that 4-year-old boy. What? You look like that 4-year-old boy that went missing. I'm a grown man. No, you're not.
You're the 4-year-old.
You're a child, and you can't sneak past me.
And so they took him home, and then he started pushing his mom into this electric wire. Like trying to poison her coffee and stuff. It was kind of crazy. So he's in Mississippi, and he's traveling around fixing pianos and organs and random stuff like that, you know. But there's a child with him, and someone sees that child, and for whatever reason,
it's like this feels off.
That looks like the boy who was missing
in Mississippi.
Yeah, because I mean, it made decent
missing posters got around.
Yeah, they made decently large news when he went missing originally. Like that looks like that missing boy, and so they call the police. The police come and they interview him and they ask him all these questions about the boy. They
don't call the police. It's 1912.
Yeah, they did. They said police, and then
that's police. Woo! Is fire. And ow is ambulance.
And is clowns. They used to be first responders.
And clowns and police is a little too similar. So sometimes you're getting mugged.
Yeah.
And you need a good police officer.
Need a cop. And this guy shows up and he makes a balloon animal gun. Which is really just, he just does one bit.
And it shoots real bullets. You're like, this is actually more helpful than the police.
That was crazy. I can't believe that worked. How did you do that?
But then sometimes they're there when you don't want them there. And that's, you're like, hey, I didn't want you here. And they go, you don't know their release command, you know?
Release.
Yeah, you got to be like,
belly on.
And they go. They
fall into the sewers.
You know, it was 1912.
Yeah, it was a different time. A lot of people don't remember that. We all collectively.
So they call the police. They go, hey.
The police interview this guy. And
there's two children walking around. And they both look like that missing boy.
So they asked the man,
where'd you get this kid?
Hey, yeah, they're like, what's your name?
He's like, I made him. What are you talking about?
He's like, yeah, I made him from loose piano parts.
He used to be my puppet, and then he ran into some talking donkey kid or something like that.
Something like that.
And he got swallowed by a whale. He went through some magical journey.
Some crazy thing.
Found a cricket.
Yeah. And the cricket
now he's a real boy.
Leave. It's driving me insane. He won't let me kill the cricket. I keep asking him. So he's like, yeah, my name's William Walters. I'm a traveling piano fixer. And he goes to the door and says, is your piano broken? And then they're like, no, we don't care about this part of your story. Who's the boy? And he's like, oh, that's Bruce. And they're like, Bruce who?
Well, you see, pianos have little strings on the inside, and my fingers are too big. So I occasionally have to contract out a 5-year-old child to get his little nubby kid hands in there.
Kid fingers down there, yeah, to get the strings. Luckily, there's no minimum wage yet, so I don't want to even say the word minimum wage, so that way you don't think I need
of it as an idea. Yeah. It's not even an idea yet.
But I don't want to give you any ideas, Mr. Law.
Minimum wage. No. That's up there with that socialism stuff.
Hey, have you ever been out to that swamp? There's a swamp I think you should check out.
You're about to go missing in this swamp, dude. Yeah,
Bruce is going to swim ahead of you and pull you down.
I don't know, man. I was just out in the swamp one day eating my cheesecake, and this little boy arose from the water.
I was sitting at the swamp, and there's this police officer who rolled in and started walking to the swamp for a little swamp swim. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this little boy, looked like a Bruce, I don't know, just full sprint. Honestly, very fast, probably 22 miles an hour.
Top of the water?
So fast, not even 4 years old, just freaking flying. Gets to a certain point in the swamp, not even like, and then just dives. And then I see the police officer just go under. A few minutes later, the boy sprouts out of the water.
Like you ever seen a Discovery show where they film those sharks? Oh, sorry, you don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you a time traveler? Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this one, or if you don't like this one, there's so many other ones. All right, if you're halfway through this one and you're like, I hate this, I want out, go check out the Richmond TV Vigilante. It's an episode we did a while ago. It's a little bit of a shorter one, but one morning in Richmond, Virginia, people wake up with just TVs on their front porch. No idea where they came from until one person checked their Ring doorbell footage and got a decent surprise. So Richmond TV Vigilante is a great episode if you're going to go check that out later. But for now, back to this one. Okay, so he's got this kid.
He's got this Bruce.
Calls him Bruce.
It's Bruce Anderson.
Yeah, this is my Bruce boy.
This is my Bruce. Bruce Anderson is his name. He is the child of a family friend that he took with him on his journey for some reason. And
sure. Nah, it's a family friend.
Yeah, it's a family friend's kid. And they were like, that's suspicious, but we can't prove anything. And so like, well, you can just go on your way. And then they follow him around for a while, watching him. And they catch him one day whooping the kid. And they're like, that's grounds for us to arrest you. And so they arrest the kid.
Well, what you did was very bad, and you got spanking by your family friend, and also you're gonna go to jail. Right? That's like what parents threaten their. If you don't do these dishes, I'm gonna call the police.
What are the police gonna do, Mom?
They're gonna put you in jail.
It's a felony.
What? They're gonna scare straight this Bruce kid.
I think you think you're Bobby. No. So
tell me. They're interrogating him.
So they take
Bruce
William to jail.
Oh,
for whipping the kid.
And they take Bruce where?
And they take Bruce and they
back
ask
to
Bruce,
Bobby's family, and they go, "Here you go."
Well, they asked Bruce. They said, "Who's that man?" And Bruce is like, "I don't know." And he's a child. He's like, "I don't know who he is." And then he's like, "Well, why are you with him?" He's like, "Well, he took me from my mom a while ago." And and they're like, "Well, what's your name?" And he's like, And they're like, "Is it Bobby?" And he's like,
"Yes,
yeah, it's Bobby." And so then
you could have said, "Is it Dragon?" And he would have been like, "Yeah,
I like that one."
My name is Dragon.
My name's Dragon. And so they took him back to Louisiana to the mother of Bobby, Miss Dunbar. And they said, "Hey, is this Bobby?" And it's been 8 months. And she's like, "I don't think so. Maybe it's him." Like she wasn't like confident.
What?
And they were like, "He looks kind of a lot like Bobby to us." And she was like, "I don't know. I'm not sure." And so they're like, "We'll take him back to the station. Why don't you get some rest? We'll give you another chance with him tomorrow." And so the next day they come back and they're like, "Why don't you give him a bath? See if he has the same scars." And so she
1912.
does. So she does. And afterwards she's like, "Yeah, he did have the same scars. This is my son. This is Bobby." And they're like, "We found him. Good work, everybody. We saved the day. The kid is alive. We got him." And meanwhile, Williams now got a kidnapping charge on him for kidnapping Bobby. And he's like, "I didn't kidnap him."
That's my family friend.
Yeah. Word gets back to Bruce Anderson was the boy's alleged name. And so word gets back to the Anderson family. And the Andersons are like, "Oh, we should probably go get Bruce." And so Julie Anderson, who lives in North Carolina, takes the journey out to...
Julie Anderson, who lives in North Carolina. Why did you do that?
Julie...
You're talking back here like a normal podcaster, and then you go, Julie Anderson, who lives in North Carolina. Like,
jeez.
I looked at Alex to make sure that I wasn't insane on that, and Alex gave me the look that's like, yeah, tell him to back away from the mic.
Julie Anderson.
Pull it further away. There you go. Keep going.
So Julie Anderson from North Carolina makes a trip out to Louisiana to be like, "Hey,
how are they tripping back in 1912? What are they?
Same way you and I trip.
Nope.
We have never tripped differently. Tripping has not changed in a long time.
Okay.
I don't know. She took a car or a train.
No, she didn't.
She took a train.
Train, probably. That makes a lot of sense.
Probably took a train. Takes a trip out.
Bruce loves trains too.
She takes the trip out to Louisiana. Okay. And when she gets there, the police are. She's like, my son Bruce is. I hear my son Bruce is with you, and you gave him to some random lady.
And they go, no.
Like, no.
That was Bobby.
And she's like, can I see him?
So now the police are Ponzi scheming these kids, dude. They got to take a kid from a different family to give it to that one. They got to take a kid from a different family to give it to that one. And it's just, it never ends.
So
you can never catch until you find twins, I guess.
We need some twins. Somebody find us twins. Quick, throw more dynamite in the lake. I'm sure there's another one down there.
Okay. I don't want a swamp twin.
I'm sorry. Here's your son. Is there a point where, never mind.
No, go on.
So they
Miss
get there and the police,
she's like, hey, that's my son.
Yeah. The police are like, okay, we're going to go get Bobby.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get a handful of other boys and we're going to do like a lineup.
A lineup?
Yeah. And if you can identify which one's yours.
I would have done, here's what I would have done if I was police sheriff, right? I would have said, all right, Miss Anderson, you go down to that side. You go down to that side, put the boy in the middle and see who he chooses.
Do like a Lassie thing? Is that it, Lassie?
No, it's Shiloh.
Oh, Shiloh, yeah. LaBeouf?
I hate everything about you. Miss Anderson was like, let's cut the baby in half. Let's cut the boy in half. I'll take half.
So they get the lineup of kids.
Okay.
And then while they're in line, she points to Bruce and she says, is that the boy that you guys thought was mine? And that response made the police very skeptical. And they're like, wait, so you don't know which one is your son? And here's the thing.
Wait, who said that?
Miss Anderson, Julia Anderson.
Okay.
Bruce's mom.
Yes.
And so, but here's the thing you have to recognize though.
Here's what sucks is that this kid just doesn't have a recognizable face. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
There's a bland old normal kid.
This is a bland kid. Not even his mom or his other mom can tell.
That's what I'm saying. No one knows who you are.
Actually him.
Have we met before?
Is that my son? But here's the thing for Miss Anderson, at least. She, William Walters took him 15 months ago. And at 4 years old, you change a lot in 15 months. And so like...
But why did Mr. Walters take the baby?
Well, he's a family friend. And he was like, he should come with me and learn to be a man now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what in 1912? He can come with me.
Here's the thing with Miss Anderson that kind of doubled over for her and became a bigger issue. She did not have a great reputation. She had this was her third child. She lost one of her children had already died, and then there was another child that she lost like in a custody battle for. And so she's not. Okay. She doesn't have a great reputation.
And then she goes, "Is that
the one that you think is mine?" And then,
that I think is mine too?
Yeah, I think it's that one. And so they gave her a closer look as well. The next day, they're like, why don't you give him a bath? We'll see what you think. And she once saw his scars. Once she saw his scars,
she was like,
this is my son. And they're like, well, dang, the bath test worked for both.
Shoot, dude. Maybe this isn't a good method.
So... now there's an issue.
Dude, Whitewater is crazy, bro. Like,
all these kids look
kids look the same, dude. They're like gremlins. You're like, what the frick?
Here's the thing, though. These boys did look a lot alike. Here's an article from... Well, I'll show you this one first. Here's a picture of the two of them.
I can tell them apart.
Bobby's on the left.
Yeah,
Bruce
I knew that.
Is on the right.
Don't tell me which one's which.
But here's the thing.
Let's try it again.
Maybe Bobby's also on... Maybe they're both Bobby. Maybe one of them's not Bobby. No. They do look similar.
No, they don't.
They do look similar.
They both look like the Precious Moments kid.
I see how you could see these kids. I see how you could see this kid go underwater in a lake and then see the kid on the right 8 months later and be like, I think that's that kid.
They both look like Haley Joel Osment in Secondhand Lions.
It's actually very accurate.
No, this is more of him in Sixth Sense, isn't it? Like young.
Yeah. This is an article from the time. Which I don't know. If you look at that,
big question mark. Both those pictures they chose, they look very different.
Yeah. I mean, I could see if you saw these kids 8 months apart, you
Are
being
these
like,
pictures of the same boy?
are these the same kid?
Bobby Dunbar before he died? Oh, before he disappeared.
Hey, thanks again for watching this episode. If you're enjoying it and you're enjoying TILLN, you've been around for a little bit, I want to invite you to be a part of our Patreon. We have a Patreon that has early access to all of our episodes, ad-free content, both audio and video. We have a Discord with our hosts and producers. That's a ton of fun, getting to hang out with all of our patrons in there. We also do, once a month now, we do these live streams with our patrons. We hang out, we get to know each other, we eat pizza. It's a blast, along with a bunch of other benefits like merch discounts, message on your birthday, like fun stuff. It's definitely worth it. We're having a blast with our patrons. But if that doesn't sound like something for you, then get the heck out of here. Just kidding. No, we love you. Thanks for checking out TILLN Podcast. How do they get it though? I realized I forgot to put a CTA in mine.
Oh, dang, you were doing that.
Yeah.
They can text TILLN to 66866.
Thanks, Jaron. So now the police have a real conundrum on their hand.
Now the newspaper's writing about it. How long is this process?
Well, this has been going on for months because they get the kid comes over. Bobby is now, or Bruce is now going by Bobby because when the Dunbars got him back, it was a big deal. Here's the kid that's been dead for 8 months is back with them. And so they threw this big party. They got him a pony and a bicycle. They're doing the whole thing.
They wrote Bobby on all its feet and everything.
On the kid's feet?
No, on the pony.
On the pony? Oh,
it's like Woody from whatever.
After the bath, they lift his foot up and they write Bobby on his foot.
Yeah, just so he doesn't forget.
Just so he never forgets.
Is your name?
It's Bobby. Hold on. I got to take my shoe off.
E-Bob.
E-Bob.
It's backwards to him. He didn't know.
Yeah. And so he's going by Bobby now.
Okay.
He's responding to Bobby.
Sure.
And he calls his mother mom. He calls his father. He calls his brothers and sisters
brother and sister. Hey, sis.
Interestingly enough, though, when he first met them, he didn't call her mom. He didn't act like he knew his siblings. And his siblings acted like they didn't recognize him either.
Dude, kids can always tell, dude. Kids are like, what the heck is this?
That's not Bobby.
That's not Bobby.
That's not Bobby. Bobby got ate by that crocodile. The crocodile told me.
In a dream.
What do you mean the crocodile told you?
Crocodile told me two things in my dream. One, I ate Bobby.
I ate Bobby.
Two, your school mascot should be eggs.
Should be eggs. And you should try to get him to change it.
Launch a campaign. This is your life purpose.
Launch campaign. But also, this kid in your house is not Bobby. He's an
That's
imposter.
not Bobby.
But more importantly, don't forget the eggs.
It's not Bobby.
If you forget any of this, forget
he held
the Bobby
a piece of paper up that said, not Bobby's boat.
Not Bobby. I held up another piece of paper that said, go eggs. If you have to forget about one of these papers, forget about the Bobby paper. The eggs is the important thing.
Okay.
The most important part of the
All right, continue. Jeez. In my dream, I killed Bobby's parents. It's a recurring dream where I go into the house. All right.
Yeah. So
if you've not, hold on. I feel like I got to disclaim. If you've not listened to previous episodes, I didn't kill Bobby's parents.
You did not. No, they died long before you were born.
That's my alibi, dude. I was born too late.
I was born too late to kill his parents. Fiddlesticks.
Shoot, dude. I would have.
I would have if I was alive.
Jeez, but alas.
But alas, I was not yet. So bummer. This court case begins.
Sure.
Because now this has become a web of problems.
Yeah.
There's one family who's like, our dead son's alive.
4 moms have shown up.
There's one family who's like, our son's alive and now he's with us again. And then there's another family that's like, our son, you took him state and gave him to some
and then there's Walter.
Family. And then there's Walter who's accused of kidnapping.
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, he's been accused of kidnapping.
Wait, does Walter maintain that it's Anderson's?
Yes, he does.
He's like, that's their son.
He's like, that's the one. And so this court case commences, and they see all the evidence, they see the kid, they have some character references for the Andersons come out, and they're able to corroborate that was the kid. They even had some of the families that Walters worked for before Bobby disappeared to come forward and say, yeah, we saw Bruce was with them before Bobby disappeared.
Okay.
So like that lines up that story. But there was already this story circulating in the media and had gotten so big that Leslie Anderson was not a good mother and had lost these other kids. And it was this big thing. And she didn't know who her son was. She had no idea. That the jury was convinced from the start that it was not Bruce and it was actually Bobby. So at the end of
she didn't get a fair trial.
Yeah. At the end of the trial, they ruled that this was actually Bobby Dunbar and not Bruce Anderson. And they legally changed his name and closed the case. Walter served a sentence for kidnapping, and Leslie had to go home without her son.
Okay.
And that was the end of the story for 90 years. Bobby lived, Bruce or Bobby, lived the rest of his life as Bobby Dunbar.
Okay.
Here he is, like a few years later, not that much farther into his life.
Okay, I was going to say, which one is he, huh?
It's the one that looks like Bruce or Bobby. I don't know.
Sure. His dad is JFK, and there's a mobster in the background.
But he wasn't there when they took the picture.
Okay, there was no boy when they took the picture, but when they looked at the picture, there he is.
That's pretty... anyways, so Bobby lives the rest of his life as Bobby Dunbar.
Yeah.
Dies.
As Bobby Dunbar.
As Bobby Dunbar. And one of his granddaughters, Margaret Dunbar Cutright, in 2004, was like 23andMe.
Oh no!
And was going through all the stories.
2004?
Yeah.
What year was 23andMe started?
I don't know if it was like a 23andMe, but it was like that
ancestry kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so she's going through all the stories. She's looking at all the family trees and stuff like that. And
something doesn't match up.
They're hearing all the stories. She's always heard the story of the time that Bobby disappeared for like 8 months, and they just happened to find him again, and all that stuff. And so she starts digging back into the story. So she's reading the newspaper articles. She's reading all the stuff like firsthand accounts instead of the stuff that was passed down by family and became family legend. And so she's reading through all these accounts. She is kind of going in it as like in like hopes of being like, okay, I'm gonna prove that Bobby, my grandfather, really is Bobby, not Bruce. And as she's going through all these documents, she starts to realize, oh, I think that my grandfather is not Bobby. I think he was Bruce. I don't think any of us are Dunbars. And so she goes and she tracks down another grandson. I don't know why she doesn't do it, but she gets another grandson to do a DNA test.
Okay.
Who is a blood relative of Bobby Dunbar, and gets one of their cousins, who was the grandson of Bobby Dunbar's brother, to do DNA tests. And they were not matches. And they were not blood related. And so all of a sudden, 90 years after the fact, they found out that this whole line of people that were using the name Dunbar were not Dunbars. Were actually Andersons. And the family line of the Andersons found out that Bruce was actually kidnapped by the state, essentially, and given to some random other family. And William Walters served his prison sentence for kidnapping. Yeah. When he didn't kidnap the kid. He was, well, I mean, jury's out on him if he kidnapped him. I don't know. That's weird. But he took the kid. And it created this huge mess for their family. Because a lot of the family got mad at her. Because they were like, I want to be a
just
Dunbar.
Let this stuff be.
I want to be a Dunbar. I don't want to be an Anderson. They were just like, it's in the past. It is like 100 years old at this point. But it like fractured their family and like fractured their relationship with her, especially, and the people who did the tests, because they were mad about it.
Is that according to her though?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like when people are like, oh yeah, my family doesn't talk to me anymore. You're like, okay, just from that one sentence, I can tell why.
I can see why they wouldn't.
If anybody's like, my family doesn't talk to me, you're like, okay.
Okay.
Now, if you say we don't talk to them anymore, I go, you're in the right.
Yeah,
I assume. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go, I don't talk to them anymore. That's actually, I'm just now thinking this, but that's a good theory right there.
That's an interesting point.
If someone says my family doesn't talk to me anymore, I go, ooh, you were wrong.
You did something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go, we don't really talk to them much anymore. You go, oh, you set healthy boundaries. Good for you.
But that could be though, like there's people who are like, we don't.
I'm
talk
saying
to them.
if you're the troublemaker in your family, just switch your verbiage around. You know, just start saying, I don't talk to them anymore.
Say it
I'll
differently.
accept that.
Yeah. If you're around Jaron, depending on who you're around.
Yeah, if you're around me, I'm super judgy.
Yeah,
so like
so
I'm always
judgmental.
trying to like see through what you're saying, you know? I didn't believe they were Dunbars for a second.
Yeah. So to this day, we don't know what actually happened with Bobby Dunbar.
Okay.
Most people are like, he probably got alligatored.
Oh, wow.
But we do know Bruce.
Sweet justice is if we're in Orlando and you get alligatored. Oh, man.
Hey, guys. Coming to you from Orlando.
Are you live streaming?
Yeah, I'm coming to you from Orlando. We should call it Alligator Orlando.
You're going to survive? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the back of the clown car. I called for help, but I did the wrong sound. I didn't know we still had clowns.
Well.
They do in Orlando.
It's worth a shot, you know?
Yeah.
It's Florida, dude. They got him.
So Bruce lived his whole life as Bobby and took it to his grave. Really had no idea. Didn't have to go through the crisis of figuring out. But everyone else in the family did, and for some reason it bothered them a lot. And that's the story of Bobby Dunbar. Well, Bruce Anderson.
Sure.
But the family of...
So did they get a DNA test from the Andersons?
Yeah. Well,
and it confirmed that he was...
Well, I don't know if they got a DNA test.
Was there any living relatives?
They got a DNA test from the Dunbars and from
the Dunbars.
Yeah, one of
but that's what I'm saying
Bruce's
is that
descendants.
like if they could prove that he was an Anderson though, because he may not have been that kid. He may have just been a random kid.
Maybe we need to test him again. Hey, I know this was a big deal for you
I've
guys.
got a question.
Yeah.
And this is going to seem like it's off the wall, but this, how big were his calves?
What?
How
does that
big
mean?
were his calves?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? I don't know how big his calves were.
Would they fit in this
Can
mold
you tell?
that we have at the police station?
Let me see the calves. What's that from? I don't even remember what that's from.
Are you serious?
I don't. Do you remember what that's from?
Tamam should, dude.
Oh. Yeah, Tamam should, man.
That's a great episode. And Tim, whatever, dude. I just think that you don't care about this show.
Oh, whoa. I don't want you to think that I don't care about this show. I don't care
Wait, you don't remember that reference?
Anything.
I've made a couple references and you didn't get them.
What?
Are you? Let's get you in the bath.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. If you liked it, here's another one you can check out. And then down here is a bunch of other episodes you can watch. So make sure you click on that to watch forever. And then you can subscribe if you haven't done that already. It makes sure you don't miss an episode. Like this video, leave a comment, leave a review wherever you're watching. And then subscribe or follow on whatever social media platform you prefer. We will be there.